Sometimes a video game comes along that reminds you why the term game isn't a bad word, why these massive, compelling narrative achievements also need to be geniusly crafted systems. Enter stage left Void Bastards from Blue Manchu, the twisted, brilliant design director of System Shock 2 and BioShock. In the new game, you inhabit an endless cadre of Void Bastards, navigating through derelict ships, exploring the Sargosi Nebula, and trying to get home. A simple premise that is executed perfectly. This strategic roguelite-ish adventure has you as a hapless prisoner slowly exploring and avoiding brilliant beasties from another dimension. Each new ship that you enter is a puzzle. There's usually an item you need to find or an issue, be it power loss or radiation leaks that you have to contend with. You couple that with randomized enemies that evoke more of a comic book-like Dead Space homage. Things get very tense very quickly. Dying is initially welcome and eventually a dire prospect. Narratively, in a very charming comic book panel style system, your items and backpack literally jump from your desiccated corpse of your protagonist to another prisoner, and again and again and again. The items you've created stick with you, but not your ammo bundles or, very importantly, the traits that your character had. These traits are a brilliant way of humanizing and putting real stakes into the idea of dying in these sorts of games. I had a harrowing 60-day run with my prodigal daughter Williams, only to be overtaken by space pirates. Williams didn't have to manually open doors, so my playstyle relied on quickly hiding behind doors and locking out enemies. When she departed, the weight of this character's death had real game consequences that extended past the narrative. As you explore, your main focus is finding items that can help you. Void Bastards is paced brilliantly so that initially you have very limited ammo sets, and in that tool shed you cautiously avoid enemies, fighting for scraps until you eventually get a few weapons and master those. Yet as soon as you hit that plateau, the game adjusts, bringing in new enemies and new strategies that are needed to defeat them. I think that simple idea is why I love this game so much. Each system on its own is incredibly refined, but together, every choice you make is contextualized in another system. You always end up feeling surprised. I always feel like my deaths were a mistake on my part, not the game. It's usually because I got too greedy and just assumed that my character could live forever. I'm always interested by the enemies. As soon as they become slightly common hats, new enemies were introduced that require me to change the way that I play. And I've gotten this far without even mentioning the mind-blowing art direction that seems to be a mix of cell shading and 2D sprites to just create a look and feel that is indescribable. Void Bastards for me is proof that indie titles, with their simplicity and hard work, can surpass multi-million-dollar AAA games by simply doing a few things very, very well and making sure those systems work together. You can finish it in just a dozen hours, but you'll want to come back for more. This is an experience you cannot miss out on.